Hello my fellow homo sapiens. You can now join my channel as a member to get exclusive perks like early access to videos, private community posts, and more. You can also now use super features for priority response from me. I also have a Patreon page that I put extra content on, including reactions, sins, Reddit stories, and more. If you want to fly yourself even deeper into the endless void of internet content, I've got you covered.
Please help!
Put your seatbelt on.
Are we gonna help him?
No.
No doubt about it, I've been savage with the plans. I'm about to get it popping like a barrel in my hands. The money getting fatter like I'm packaging the grands. Go to war for the bank, call that battle of the bands. Ain't hard to tell that I've been hated like a city cop. Cause pretty bitches been dripping over the skilly guy. But I ain't quitting till I'm busy getting diddy guap. Been up on the wave, shit is big enough to flip a yacht. My music proving I'm cool, abusing the human body. Illuminati been promising me that new Bugatti. Man, what a blessing, money stretching like it do Pilates. I'm getting rich off a rap, I swear this the coolest hobby. You motherfucker!
I'm not sure if this song actually reminds me of the opening titles for Sherlock, or if I'm just having a fungus-fueled hallucination.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture ref.
I can't figure out who Ellie is talking to here.
Skip.
Gas breaks down over time. This stuff's almost water.
That stuff should be 100% unusable. Diesel has at best a 12-month shelf life. Gas, in general, can break down after 3 to 6 months. Joel telling me that this old gas coming from a car currently growing a substantial amount of moss will work doesn't make me believe it will work.
This is a good sin. Despite all the lies and stupidity TVSins tends to peddle, this is 100% true. See how 30 seconds of research is invaluable?
Back in the day, we'd drive 10-12 hours on one tank.
I'm not saying there isn't a car that can make it 10 hours plus on one tank, but they sure weren't as plentiful as Joel's making it seem with this story.
He never gave a metric for how many cars could do that though, so your point is invalid. If he had said that all cars, or even most cars could do that, you would be right, but he didn't say that.
Doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary.
That fake-ass laugh.
Here, this make you all nostalgic?
Joel is so distracted by Hank Williams that he takes his eyes off the road for an anxiety-inducing 7 seconds.
In a world where the odds of anyone else being on the road are slim to none, and after he had already seen how empty the road ahead was?
Why are all these pages stuck together? I'm just with you.
Joel is more scared of this question than he is of the infected, which is fair, but it's also an outdated stereotype about fathers being scared of the talk.
How is it outdated if it's oftentimes true? The talk makes a lot of people uncomfortable. In fact, my parents never even gave me the talk.
Seeing this Arby's sign makes me realize those old "Where Did Everybody Go" commercials in this universe were accurate predictions of the near future, and for some reason that makes me sad. It also makes me want a roast beef sandwich and some horsey sauce to dip my curly fries in, but also disgusting. Earlier Ellie said,
I want to see a tank.
but when they drive past them, Joel doesn't say that's a tank.
In the shot right after this one, we see Ellie looking at the tanks. Now, Discount Jeremy might be trying to argue that Ellie wouldn't know what a tank looks like in the first place, but that's because pictures still exist in this world.
Alright, that's enough for today.
And here's this conveniently laid out turnoff because I'm tired and I'm ready to set up camp and cook some ravioli.
Or, and hear me out because I'm about to explain the meaning of existence itself, maybe he decided to stop for the day because he saw a turnoff, meaning that it wasn't convenient.
Hiding far away from the road is a good idea. However, this long and very direct set of tire tracks is definitely giving away your position.
Discount Jeremy forgets that nighttime is dark.
Fungus isn't that smart. This is too remote for infected anyway.
Show tries to let us down easy with his hint that no fungus zombies will be joining us in the episode.
But why is that a letdown? The episode is fantastic as is. Would it have been better with some infected? Maybe, but maybe not. We have no way of knowing because that episode doesn't exist. Therefore, this sin is bull.
Joel was worried about the smoke from building a fire, but not about the light from this lamp.
Aaron, how about you listen to the words you're saying? Joel was worried about the smoke because smoke plumes go really far up in the sky and can be seen for miles. This small light is being blocked by the trees and has no smoke. Think, use your brain.
Oh, what the is that?
You don't like coffee?
Jump scaring Ellie's morning with coffee, along with her inability to not let anything around her go without giving in to snooping. So the sin, as always, is Ellie and coffee.
Sinning Ellie is bad enough, but sinning coffee? This is begging me to kick his ass. Also, in what world is that considered a jump scare? Somebody being disgusted by a smell is not a jump scare. Somebody who watches TV and movies for a living should really know that.
Isn't he with you?
Long story.
Is it longer than 25 hours?
It's not, but it's probably gonna feel.
I'm just gonna stop you at whatever random spot I decide to cut when I'm editing this video because he's about to claim that this short and meaningful story is going to feel really long and then he skips it. In other words, bull.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on? I mean, you gotta try, right?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. Keep going for family.
This is why this story works. It's about so much more than dealing with external apocalypse problems. We get to see the characters navigate their internal struggles as well, reminding us that these aren't just video game avatars, but real people with emotions and fears that they must fight along with the fungus among us.
Wait, so you understand the fact that this show isn't really about the zombies, but actually about humanity and love? So why did you keep the earlier sin when you complained about the episode not having any infected? Proofreading has existed for a long time, dude. Try it out.
What if you don't find him?
I will.
How do you know?
I'm persistent.
Oh, the superpower of persistence. That always works out in the end. It doesn't get in the way of those other superpowers like extra human strength, laser eyes, and invisibility. Nope, persistence trumps all. This will work out well for Joel.
I mean, it has so far. Besides, what's your point? Persistence doesn't always work out, that's true. But if that's really what you're sinning, then this is yet another example of Discount Jeremy taking what a character says at face value. If this was supposed to be some sort of joke, then the sin is for it not being remotely funny. If neither of those were the point, then what the hell was?
Screw it.
We've never seen Joel be the type of person to just say screw it. So this is how we know that the writers were at a loss for how to make something bad happen.
Do you remember that sin in the second episode where you complained about Joel suggesting the short and more dangerous route to Tess that she called the, quote, we're f***ing dead way? Yeah, I know you expect your audience to not fact check you, but that's why I'm here.
Hey, please help!
We're left to assume this is a trap. But are these guys just always ready to pull this? Clearly not that many people are driving anymore, so how often exactly would the time it would take to set all this up even be worth it?
This type of sin is really funny to me. The fact that these guys have set up a trap here in the first place implies that enough people do come through this area to make it worthwhile. Besides, simply asking questions doesn't equate to pointing out mistakes. These questions aren't important to the story in any way. You're asking for an exposition dump on something that doesn't matter.
These tires look much more inflated right before the crash than they did a second ago because production put the safety of their stunt personnel ahead of continuity. I mean, don't get me wrong, that is the correct choice, but I still have to sin it.
This is actually another good sin. See, this is why I still have hope that TVSins can come back from the boring crap they've fallen into. They can still catch some genuine continuity errors.
You make it through! We promise!
The Bad Guys Who Deal Out Promises, a podcast.
Skip.
Look at me. They're not gonna hit you.
All those Mandalorian episodes have allowed him to know when he's dealing with people who have attended the Stormtrooper School of Aiming at Things.
Discount Jeremy makes a pop culture.
You mother...
Getting pissed off that the guy you're shooting at shoots back at you.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Joel is amazingly lucky that this guy chose to run at him when he opened the door instead of immediately shooting. This scene has devolved into a convenient medley of things working or not working. Also, our hero can survive this.
This is a pretty deceptive sin. The guy did not run at Joel. The only forward movement he made was stepping into the room. In fact, immediately after stepping in, he fires around but misses because Joel forces his gun upwards. Now, maybe Discount Jeremy is arguing that the guy should have kicked in the door and immediately fired around from outside the room, but that argument relies on a normal human being somehow having X-ray vision without any X-ray goggles. In other words, the guy had no way of knowing that Joel was directly behind the door until he broke it down.
Ellie, I gotta get in there. I can't fit through.
Joel absolutely could fit through the hole in the wall.
You're joking, right? I'm pretty sure the reason he said this is because he didn't take a close enough look. This border would be big enough for Joel to fit through, but Joel would actually have to climb through this tiny space with sections of wall here, here, and here. Discount Jeremy doesn't understand perspective.
Kathleen, for God's sake, I delivered you. I held you in my hands.
I honestly have no clue what Kathleen is trying to find out or why Stathis Borons from David Cronenberg's remake of The Fly is in the situation he's in. But I'm pretty sure just being the doctor who delivered said adult when they were born does not give you the right to do whatever it is you probably did.
It doesn't make it okay. He's trying to use empty sentiment to get out of the situation he's currently in. How do you not get this? Also, Discount Jeremy makes a pop.
Guy with a beard is the first in command because he has a beard cliché.
That's not a cliche.
Let's be honest, we all suspected that Kansas City would be the first to go all Mad Max.
Discount Jeremy makes.
You had to, you know,
Well, you're glad I did, right?
you're just a kid.
What a weird way to say thank you for saving my life, Ellie.
Discount Jeremy ignores the fact that this is entirely within Joel's character. I mean, didn't you try to sin something earlier for not fitting his character, but now you're sinning something that does fit his character? What?
You put it in your pack. Just shoot your damn ass off.
Fair enough, but isn't there an in-between place for her to store the gun? Having her have to get into her pack in a last-minute kind of situation doesn't seem smart.
Okay, so where do you suggest she put it instead? Well, if you can't come up with any alternatives, then this sin doesn't hold any weight.
Smile after being handed a gun. I know it's a different world than our own, but that doesn't make the smile any less creepy.
Yes, it does actually. She has the gun for self-defense, not because she's from Texas.
No sign of them. You?
Yeah.
Perry is shockingly good at his job and seems to know what needs to be done, but he follows all of Kathleen's orders without question. It's a very interesting dynamic, and it's sinful that they don't have their own show, so this could be explored further.
Without question? Are you kidding me? He absolutely questions some of her orders, like when she orders him not to tell anyone about the infected underground, and even when he suggests that they call off the hunt for Henry. Yes, he still follows the orders, but he does not do it without question, like you said.
These bikes were left to die here like this.
This channel was left to die here like this.
Showing us this thing, which is obviously related to the fungus, only to then not talk about it for the rest of the episode. How is this less important than some dude named Henry?
It's not, and that's exactly the point. In the very next episode, this ends up being the downfall of these people, which happens because they ignore it. You are agreeing with the show and then giving it a sin for that.
Walking upstairs. Walking upstairs. Walking upstairs. Excitement.
Pointing things out on the screen. Pointing things out on the screen. Pointing things out on the screen. Comedy?
Joe. Joe!
What?
What are you doing?
Joel lightly seasons the floor with glass shards because...
I don't want someone sneaking up on us while we're sleeping.
But he doesn't consider barricading the door even a little bit. Or not sleeping in view of the front door where someone could just shoot him and Ellie before they even stepped on the glass.
Of course, you're ignoring the fact that he also placed glass outside the door in the hallway. I agree with your other points, so I'll call this a draw.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Yeah, it runs in your genes.
Even cleverly written poop jokes are still poop jokes, and always a sin.
Coming from the guy who makes poop jokes from time to time, hypocrisy is hypocritical.
Well, now, to be honest with you, he's been all over Neymar the whole game.